Thanks for being here. All right, so let's begin. Let's get comfortable. We can take our thumbs and tuck them into our fingers. Let our hands rest on our thighs. And we'll take a couple moments to begin as we always begin by bringing our awareness to the three treasures: the Jing, the Qi, and the Shen, the body, the breath, and the mind. And just taking them one at a time, beginning with the body and the alignment of the body. Tuning into your physical sensations, feeling the ground beneath you. Feeling the weight of your bones. And also the weightlessness of whatever it is that is able to use gravity to then lift up and overcome gravity. And attuning awareness to the breath as it moves into and through the body. Perhaps noticing how the breath can help bring more awareness into the body, can help to create a little bit of lift and expansion, as well as softening and relaxation. Just allowing the focus of the mind to be on the alignment of the body and the movement of the breath. Last week we talked about this phase of summer that we're in, the third phase of summer, called grain in ear or grain in beard. And this is the phase of summer right before the summer solstice. So the yang is building up to its peak. Summer is the fire element. We're in the year of the fire horse, the horse which relates to the heart, which is a fire element. So this phase, the seasonal node that we're in right now, is a lot of yang, fiery energy. So acknowledging that, and also acknowledging ways to harmonize and to balance that energy. And we've been talking all year about some of the things to help balance the energy of the fire horse is the grounded stability of earth. As we sit here, stable, grounded. The calm, rhythmic energy of the metal element as we breathe deeply into the body. And the still, reflective quality of water. So as we train the focus of our minds into our bodies, attuning to our breath and the movement of our breath, we can be present, we can be here, active, yang, fiery, but not overexcited, over anxious. We can be grounded, stable and calm. And if, as you're sitting here, you're feeling less than stable and calm, tune into your alignment, your physical sensations. Take a deep breath into your body. Feel the shape of your body with your breath. And let's introduce some very gentle, slow, rhythmic movement in these seated positions. Most of you are familiar with these movements. So we can begin by just letting our hands come to our sides. And let's inhale the palms forward, coming up just about shoulder level or head level. Turn the palms down and exhale. Let the hands move back past the midline so that you hinge forward slightly, and then inhale up. Breathing, lengthening, expanding, and then exhale, maintaining your length and expansion as you relax. And again, in and out. Let's do 3 more. Taking your time and harmonizing the movement with the breath. One more time. As you exhale, let your thumbs tuck back into your fingers and your hands can rest back on your thighs. And again, settle into an awareness of your body, the sensation of your alignment between the earth and sky. Notice your breathing. Notice the focus of your mind, the quality of your mind. Take a nice deep breath in, exhaling completely. On your next inhale, as you inhale, let your hands float up the front of your body. Turn the palms to face up and look up. And as you exhale, your hands can come around. You can make soft fists with your hands. Press your fists together. Let your chin come towards your chest, round your back. And then inhale, roll yourself up. Palms up, looking up, stretch. Exhale. Fists pressed together, chin towards the chest, rounding the back. And again, like this, inhaling. Stretch. Exhale. Wring yourself out. And in. Harmonizing the movement with the breath. Bringing yourself all the way out so that you can then inhale. Nourish your whole body with your breath. Let's do 2 more full cycles. Taking your time, holding a little bit at the bottom of the exhale and the top of the inhale. Stretching. Bringing yourself all the way out. And on the inhale, you can roll yourself up. Thumbs back into the fingers, and the hands can rest on the thighs. Return to the 3 treasures. Invite the breath into every cell of your body. Watch it as it moves through every cell of your body. Now let's bring our mirror hand, fingertips just down to the ground. Let's inhale and get nice and long and tall. Press down through your seat, reach up through the base of the skull. And as you exhale, just leaning over towards this mirror side hand. And then pressing through your hand, inhale yourself tall. Bring the window side hand to the ground and exhaling over. Just as far as is comfortable. We'll go side to side. Inhale. Lengthening up and then exhaling. And the side bend is almost a result of just extending up. Like going up so high that there's really nowhere else to go but over. So we're not compressing, we're lengthening. And inhaling through the center. Exhaling to the side. On the next inhale, if you'd like, your arms can come to a T. Window hand down, mirror hand can come over. Pressing through the hand on the floor to help you come up. And then exhale. And in. Thinking length through the spine. We're not looking for any sharp, pointy edges. We want space in between the vertebrae. Let's inhale up to a T. And return our hands to our thighs. Breathe with your body. As you inhale, think about the base of the skull gently lifting up and slightly back, so the chin slightly tucks, the head lifts away from the neck and the shoulders, which allows a rooting down through the seat into the ground, so we can find this lifting up into the sky and sinking down into the earth and spreading wide out into the biofield as we breathe. Allow this physical awareness to be the focus of the mind, facilitated by the breath. Notice anywhere you might be holding tension. See if you can afford to relax any of those areas. I notice sometimes I can get really tense in my inner thighs, but I don't need to be, so I can relax. Just enjoy these few moments of stillness, allowing your breath to nourish your body, to nourish your mind. Allowing yourself to receive some moments of rest amid all of the activity that's going on around us and inside of us. Just give yourself this gift, this offering. One more movement. Let's take a breath in together. And then exhaling deeply. As you inhale, let your hands float up the front of the body. Turn the palms up and exhale. Out to shoulder level. And then inhale. All the way up to your throat. Turn the palms up and exhale. And this breath pattern may require us to hold the breath a little bit at the top and the bottom. Inhaling. Exhaling. Stretching, lengthening. Inhale. Exhale. Taking your time, stretching the breath. 3 more. In. And out. In. And out. One more as we breathe in. And out. Inhale back up to the throat. And then allow the hands to rest back on the thighs as you exhale. Returning to an awareness of your body. Feel the breath energy as it moves into and through your body. Allow the body and the breath to be the focus of the mind for just these next few moments. See if you can enjoy your breathing. In these times of busyness and complexity, polarization, being stable and calm is an act of rebellion. And, moving into summer and 4th of July, the word patriot really means rebel. Let's bring our hands together, rub our palms together. Let's take a nice deep breath in together. Shake it out. Rubbing the palms again. And then just briefly we can massage our faces up and down. From here, let's bring our fingertips over our scalps. You can go back and forth or front to back or however feels good. Just waking up our scalps, helping to open up our sensory orifices. And let's come down the back of our necks and around. Palms together, we can drag our thumbs over our chests. And then the palms can come over the lower ribs, onto the belly, and around the waist, to the lower back. Drawing our hands out, shake them out. Rub the palms together. And again, thumbs back in the fingers, hands on the thighs, just a few moments. Feeling how you feel. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Any questions about anything? Okay. So, yeah, we're in the 3rd phase of summer. I put a Chinese character on the board. Maybe those of you online, just so you can see a little better. So, it's the character Li. And so we're in summer, the 3rd phase of summer, coming to the apex of summer, the solstice, in another 12 days or so, almost 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks. And so every element has a kind of virtue associated with it. This is actually from the Confucian tradition. And so the Confucian virtue associated with the fire element is Li. Li is sometimes translated as ritual or like a rite. Like there's a famous Confucian book called the Book of Rites, and so that's like the Book of Li. And sometimes Li is also translated as propriety, and propriety is like doing the right thing at the right time, like, you're performing a ritual. And in the Book of Li, Confucius makes the point to say, we're not performing rituals to like evoke or to call in a spirit. The ritual itself is the spirit. It's like the embodiment of that. It's the becoming of it. And what this is a picture of, the character for Li, so we know this half, we've seen this before in the character for spirit, for Shen, right? It's the heaven and the earth and the sun and the moon and the stars. So that's this side. This side is a person on their knees. And so this is ritual. It's like we're honoring nature. We're honoring the heaven and the earth and the sun and the moon and the stars. And the sun and the moon and the stars are considered to be the macrocosmic 3 treasures. Whereas we have our body, breath, and mind, that's the microcosmic 3 treasures. And so again, there's this honoring just of what is. And to really honor it is to be like just almost like we're not there because we're just so in it, you know? I mean, I think we've all had that experience. And we've talked about this previously also with the characters for Wu Wei, you know, the non-action, and that character for Wu is a person spinning around, becoming a pillar of light. And so, you know, sometimes Wu Wei gets translated as like non-action, like, ooh, how can I do the most with the least amount of effort? Which is you know, a valid interpretation. But I also feel like that opens the door for like laziness, you know, and like lack of accountability. And it's like, you know, oh, well, I'm practicing Wu Wei. That's why I didn't do the dishes or whatever, you know. And that's like, I feel like that's to cheapen what that really means. Whereas this character Wu, like, you know, it's like you're so completely in what you're doing that you're not even there anymore. There's no thinking of like, well, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Like a great example, I don't know if I mentioned it here before, but, you know, there was a news story. It was a woman in Australia, and there had been a shooting, and like she kind of happened to just pull into this parking lot where the shooting had happened, had no idea what was going on. And this guy who was wounded and bleeding is like stumbling towards her, and she just like immediately opens the door, pulls him in, drives to the hospital. And she was interviewed, and, you know, they were like, wow, you know, you're such a hero. Like, how did you know to do that? And she was like, I didn't know anything. Like, there's no hero. It's like, I see a bleeding person stumbling towards me. That's what you do. Like, there was no thought. That was really Wu Wei, even though there was a whole lot of action and effort kind of happening. It wasn't there was no struggle or no trying to figure out what's what. And so this is kind of this idea of propriety and ritual. You know, it's like, it's not like, oh, we have to do these certain things in this certain way to make this certain thing happen. It's just, how can we just be so present or just so kind of, you know, complete in whatever it is that we're doing, that everything we're doing is in honor of everything. It's like we're acknowledging the gift of our breath by breathing consciously. We're acknowledging the gift of our lives by just being alive. Like that's, I feel like, a really high expression of Li. And so, you know, bringing this up in the summer solstice, in this year of the fire horse, when there is so much tumult going on, and how easy it is for us to be hijacked by things and caught up in a this and a that and all this other stuff. And it's like, but what are we even just doing right now? Like, can we start from that? Can that be our foundation? And so these practices that we're doing is an opportunity to really cultivate what it feels like to just be so complete in taking a breath, or so complete in just lifting our arms up and bringing them down, that's all that is that's going on. And that's like the gift that we're offering to the universe, and gift that we're offering to ourselves in introducing something that is so complete and grounded and calm and rhythmic that can permeate out into the world. So that's why we perform ritual, to create the world, and we've talked about this before as well in this class, of starting something when you start it, and doing it while you're doing it, and then ending it when you're done with it, before you go on to the next thing. Like, just as simple as that, It's like, how often are we eating while we're watching the computer or the television, or driving even, or driving while we're on our phones, or we're starting something else before we finish something, and and then everything gets all fuzzy and blended and tangled, and it's like, no wonder the world is falling apart, because this is how so many of us, most of the time, myself included, are functioning and not even noticing it. And so we have this opportunity every moment to come back to just doing something with intention. And the intention being to just almost not be there, because we're just so in it, allowing the universe to even come through us. It's the universe that's bowing to itself, not us, necessarily. All right, so that's the Confucian virtue of Li for the fire element in the fire season, in the year of the fire horse, right as we're coming to the summer solstice. So my invitation to you is to, call in that kind of intentionality for our practice today is to practice with this sense of a kind of ritual. Everything, every movement, every breath, every gesture, all of it is just in service of everything. Okay, so enough about that. We can get into it. So you can all stand up if you'd like, and we can do some standing practice. And thank you everyone for being here online. Okay. Right, and so these past couple weeks we've been starting with Thich Nhat Hanh's 10 mindful movements, and so we're going to do that again. And last week we did the 10 mindful movements and then the 9 phases of Qi cultivation, so we did a 10-9. So today we can do the 10 mindful movements and the 8 pieces of brocade, so we'll do a 10-8. We'll just kind of work with numbers until we need to do something else. So, yeah, let's stand. I need to shake my legs out a little bit because my feet kind of fell asleep. So you can loosen yourself up, find a comfortable standing posture. And your feet can be hip width apart, shoulder width apart, however. And let's just take a few moments to begin. So, finding ourselves in this new shape, a standing posture. Or if you were seated before and you're seated again, you can just renew. And just taking a few moments to check in to how your weight is distributed through your feet. If your weight is in one foot more than the other, if you're in the front of your feet or the back of your feet, just noticing how you are connected to the ground. And maybe noticing how noticing can change your experience. I'd invite you to soften your knees, and you might even bend your knees a little deeper than you think you need to, just so that you can come out of a too deep knee bend and find what feels good, appropriate. And then bringing some awareness to the base of the skull and thinking about the base of the skull, lifting up and slightly back. You might also think like if somebody was taking the tops of your ears and just kind of pulling you up and back slightly. And I like this base of the skull cue more than, top of the head by way, because when I say that, sometimes people, they do this. And that's not so much what we're going for. We're going for the base of the skull, lifting off of the neck, chin slightly tucking, getting length, getting engagement in these big sternocleidomastoid muscles. Lifting through the base of the skull, chin slightly tucks, causes the collarbones to lift and spread wide, which allows the shoulder blades to just settle on the back of the rib cage. And when you feel your shoulder blades, breathe in between your shoulder blades and underneath your shoulder blades, behind your heart. Get some expansion in the backside of the rib cage. Breathe into the back of your body. And as you do that, you might find that you can lift the base of your skull even a little bit higher. And as you lift the base of the skull and breathe into the back of the rib cage, you might find that helps you to root down more through your heels and the outer edge of your feet and feel grounded and connected to the earth. And a lot of that happens on the inhalation. This extension into the earth, spreading wide and back in the rib cage, lifting through the base of the skull. And so you gain some width and some loft on the inhale. And as you exhale, see if you can maintain some of that. And so I'll exaggerate, like if we're gaining, big breath in, if we let it all go when we exhale, it's like we kind of collapse. We're not going for that. We want to have a nice little lift, expansion, rooting, and then see if as you get all of that on your inhale, see if you can maintain it as you exhale. And what you might notice is what happens when you work on maintaining that on the exhalation is that your core, your abdomen, engages. It kind of moves in, it lengthens, it tones up. This area is what's called the lower dantian. So we're activating our lower dantian. That can sometimes, I've heard that for years and years, bring awareness to your lower dantian, engage the lower dantian. What does that mean? For me, currently, what it means is what I just described. So lift through the base of the skull, fill the back of the rib cage, root through the bottom of your feet, get tall, long, and wide on your inhale, and as you exhale, maintain it. Feel the lower dantian engage. And that can feel like a lot of work. And so see if you can maintain that, and if it feels like it's a 7, 8 out of 10 on the effort scale, see if you can do everything I've been describing, but at a level of like a 2, 3, 4 out of 10 on the effort scale. So as you breathe and as you stand with this intention, with this aliveness, this kind of dynamic living, it's like this idea of Wu, being a pillar of light. And then all of this awareness of the body, let's maintain it as we introduce some gentle movement, harmonizing with the breath. Nice and easy. So the first movement, palms face towards the ground, we inhale, shoulder level. Think about reaching your fingertips, the base of your skull, and the back behind your heart away from each other, and then exhale. And take your time. Inhale. Stretching the fingertips and the back away from each other. And exhale. A couple more, just in. Stretch, lift through the base of the skull, root through your heels, and out. In. Out. One more. Just take a breath here, relax. In an engaged kind of way. Next movement, leading with the thumbs and the index fingers, we inhale the hands up overhead. Stretch long. Reach down through your feet and up through your fingertips, and then exhale. Lengthening the body. In. Reaching the fingertips and the feet away from each other. Out. Let's do 3 more. Slowly. Taking your time. Maybe inviting a smile. Harmonizing the breath with the movement. 1 more. Take a breath. We can bring our fingertips up to our shoulders. And then we'll inhale and open wide. Fingertips can even point towards the ground if you'd like. And then exhale. Like a lotus blooming. In. Stretch and out. In. Spreading the floor apart with your feet. Out. 2 more. One more. Relaxing the arms down, breathing. Next movement. Let's bring our palms together out in front of our bellies. And then we'll inhale the arms up, separating, circling out, exhaling as the hands come down, the palms come together. Let's go back the other way. Inhale down and back, and coming up. Exhaling as the hands come down. Adjust your stance as needed. So in, we go up. Opening and out. Taking your time, back the other way. Exhaling. Two more. In and out. Back the other way. In and out. One more time. In and out. Relax. Let's bring our heels a little closer together, and the feet can be opened like at a 90-degree angle. Hands can come on the hips. We're going to inhale off our heels. Staying off the heels, we exhale and bend down as deep as you can go. And then inhaling up. Stretch. Exhale. Like a frog. Two more. In. Last one, we come out. In. And the heels come down. Shaking that one out. Coming back into our alignment. Next movement, inhaling the hands up overhead. As we exhale, hinge the hips back, folding forward, bend your knees as much as you need towards the ground, and then inhale out and up. Exhale. In and out. In. One more time. Out. In. And then the hands can come down. All right. Now moving on to some of the balanced ones, the fun ones. Hands on the hips. And when you do this, you can adjust, modify however you need. So we'll shift our weight into the mirror foot, and we're going to inhale the knee up, and you can even keep the toes on the ground if you'd like. Inhaling, and then exhaling, point. Inhale, and exhale. Other side, in and out. In and out. So you can keep it like that. If you want to come up higher, you can inhale. Exhale. Toes pointed towards the ground as we inhale and exhale. We're just shifting side to side. In, out. Taking your time. In and out. A couple more. In, out, in, down. One more each side. And down. We can keep our hands on our hips. This next movement, we'll make some circles with our legs, and the circles can be small, so we'll start small. So again, shifting the weight to the mirror foot, and we can inhale as the foot comes out and around, and then exhale the second half, and your toe can come to the ground for balance. And then we can inhale, exhale. Other side. In, small circle. Out. In, out. I find when I make sure that I'm breathing with the movement, my balance is better. Inhaling, exhaling, in, and out. And as you'd like, you can make the circle bigger or keep it small. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. One more each side. In and out. In and out. In, out, in, and out. Relax for a breath or two. Now we can open out towards the mirrors. We'll take our window foot and point it towards the windows, so we've got a 90-degree angle with our feet. Mirror hand on the mirror hip. Window hand is going to come back. And then we'll inhale. The palm comes up, faces forward, and we can bend into that front knee, looking up at the hand. And exhale. Coming back. In. Bending into the front leg as much as is comfortable, and out. A couple more. In, out, in, and out. Both feet face forward, hands on the hips. Mirror foot turns out. Window hand on the window hip, mirror hand comes back. Inhale. Stretch. Exhale. In, looking up at the hand. And out. Two more. In. And out. Feet can face forward, and then let's inhale, gathering ourselves together. Exhale. Let your hands rest by your sides. Checking in, relaxing, shaking out as needed. Returning awareness to the three treasures, the hard parts at the bottom of the feet, lifting the base of the skull up and back, breathing in between the shoulder blades behind the heart. So as we move into Duan, the 8 pieces of brocade, before we start the movements, let's just begin with some opening and closing. So let's take a nice breath in. As we exhale, sink. And then let's open towards the mirrors, so we can inhale and open out towards the mirrors. Exhale, just let the hands float down, settle. And then we'll close towards the mirror. So inhale, bringing the window foot in. And exhale. Sinking and then opening towards the windows. Inhale. Exhale, down through center. And then close towards the windows. Inhaling. And exhaling. And just moving slowly like this. Let's take our time. In towards the mirrors. Out. Settling. Grounding. Closing. We inhale. And exhale. A couple more. In. Out. In. And out. Open. Stabilize. And then close. Open towards the windows. And now we'll begin. So let's exhale, hands down. Inhale the hands up to the heart. Exhale and open the heart. Hands come all the way to the shoulders. As you inhale, press up. Stretch. Look forward. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale, open. All the way around to the shoulders, and then inhale, press. Look forward as you stretch and exhale. Let's move like this for a little while. In, out. In, out. In, relax. In, out. 2 more. Gathering up. And sharing. Inhale. Exhale. Bending the knees as much as is comfortable. Inhale. Exhale. Well, last one, make it count. Inhale. Exhale. Let's close towards the mirrors. Hands can rest by your sides. effects of the movement. Feel the pumping of the blood and the fluids, the breath circulating through the body. Inviting the breath into areas that need it. Exchanging qi with the universe. We can take a breath in. Exhale, sink. And then we can inhale and open towards the windows. Relax. Let's inhale, the hands up. We're going to draw the bow towards the mirrors first. So keep inhaling, stretch. Exhale, release the bow, weight shift, brings the feet together. Inhale. We're opening towards the windows this time, so stretch. Exhale. One motion, so stepping out as we inhale and draw the bow. Exhale. Feet come together. One motion. In, stepping out. Continue inhaling as you stretch. Exhale. Weight shift helps us step together. Inhaling. Exhaling. In. Out. Hands are floating up before I start inhaling, and then I'm inhaling here. So finding your way with it. In. Out. In. Out. One more time towards the windows. In. And out. Let's gather up. And exhale. Sorry, that one was a little clunky on the start. I apologize. This time, let's take a breath in. Exhale and sink. And then we can open towards the mirrors. Hands out to the sides. Exhale, bring the window hand underneath and the mirror hand on top. Let's take a breath here. And then pressing the hands together, we're going to inhale. Stretch. Exhale. Hands come closer together and then they switch. The lower hand comes close to the body and then inhale. Looking over the open shoulder. Exhale. In. Stretch. And out. Palms towards each other, and then they just stay in the position they're in. The upper hand just turns around, and then we stretch. In. Out. Palms turn towards each other, and then press away. Exhale, palms turn towards each other, and then press away. Again, inhale. Exhale. One more on each side. Stretch. Hands can come down, and then let's close towards the window. So we'll inhale and exhale. Take a few breaths here, hands by the sides, lifting the base of the skull up and away from the neck and shoulders, feeling the hard parts of the bottom of the feet connecting to the ground. Breathing wide into the sides and the back of the rib cage. And let's take a breath in. Exhale and sink. Opening towards the mirrors, we'll inhale. Exhale, the hands can come down, palms back to back. Look down at the hands. So a gentle rounding of the upper back. On the inhale, roll yourself up and let the thumbs point back behind you. Look over your mirror shoulder. Stretch. And then exhale, knees can soften. Chin can come towards the chest, palms come back to back. On the inhale, roll yourself up, palms face away from you, thumbs pointing back behind you, looking over the window, shoulders stretching. Exhale. This is the movement, nice and easy. Inhaling, rolling up, turning the palms away, looking over the mirror shoulder as far as is comfortable, and then exhale. In. Find your stretch and relax. In. Stretching, relaxing. To the other side. Let's do one more on each side. Inhaling, rolling up. Palms face away, thumbs behind you, looking over the shoulder and back. Last time. Inhale. Stretch. Exhale. Palms back to back. Let's close towards the mirrors. Inhale. And exhale. Gathering ourselves. Attuning to the body, the alignment, the breath. Notice the areas of your body that have been turned on by the movements. Just invite the breath into those areas and through those areas. Using the breath to integrate all the different parts of the body and the mind. The inside and the outside, the sky and the earth. You can take a deep breath in, exhaling and sink, And then inhale, open towards the windows. Let the hands come up overhead, palms up, fingertips towards each other. And then exhale, the hands can come around, the toes can point out slightly. Hands come to rest on the thighs, thumbs on the outside, fingers on the inside. We've got a little bend in the knees. Feel free to adjust the width of your stand as needed as the movement becomes more familiar. So we're going to inhale and lengthen, turning towards the mirror foot. Send your hips back so your body hinges. You're looking at your mirror foot. Keep your gaze there. Swing your upper body over the other leg. Now take the mirror shoulder up, turn your gaze up, and then press through the window foot and come back up to center. And then relax. A little rest. Coming up, turn, send the hips back, hinging over the window foot, looking down at that foot, swing the body over to the other leg, keeping your gaze on your window foot. Window shoulder rolls up, gaze looks up, press through the mirror foot to come up, and then rest. Again, up, turning, exhale. Inhaling, big long inhale all the way over and up. Exhale. In. Window foot this time, out. In. All the way rolling and pressing up. And then out. In. Towards the mirrors. Out. In. Out. In. Windows. Out. In. One more each side. Pressing. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, reaching the hips back and down. Inhaling. Pressing up. Let's close towards the windows. Inhale. Breathe a little bit. Cooling the body down. That movement can definitely generate some heat. And allowing that heat, that qi, that yang, to move through the whole body. Breaking through obstructions. Clearing out stagnation. Breathing in together. Exhale, sinking. Inhale, open towards the mirrors. Hands can come up, palms together, just breathing naturally now, so the hands come down over the face, and then pressing the thumbs into the sternum as we move over the lungs and the heart, and then bring your palms over the lower ribs, over the liver and the spleen and the pancreas, around the back to the kidneys, and then send the hips back and hinge forward. The hands can come down the back of the legs as much as is comfortable. And then up the front of the legs, rolling ourselves up, hands to the hips. And then we can inhale the hands up. Palms together and exhaling. Breathing naturally, breathing slowly, where the name of this movement is replenishing the 5 taxations. We're checking in with the 5 viscera. The lungs, the heart, the spleen, and the liver, around to the kidneys, nourishing our organs. Hips move back so that the hands can move down the back of the legs, drawing the energy up from the earth into our body, to the hips, and then we can inhale. And exhaling, hands down, and just breathe naturally. But again, think of your organs as you move over them with your hands. Invite the breath, the chi, the nourishment into these organs. Replenish them. The organs are like oceans, like little lakes. We're refilling the reservoirs up the front of the body. Again, inhale. Exhale. And nourish your body, nourish your internal organs with your intention and your breath. Up the front of the body to the hips, and then let's close towards the windows. Inhale, exhale. We're feeling the difference between this sensation, which feels much cooler than the previous movement, which was much hotter. Nice deep breath in. Exhale and sink. Inhale, open towards the windows. Exhale, the hands can come down to either side of the hip. And we can have soft hands or soft fists with the thumbs tucked into the fingers. So, I think I've talked about this form before. There's so many different versions of this form. I've learned it different times from different teachers, and so what I do is like a combination of these different things. So if it's different than how we've done it before this way, it's like one of my teachers likes to say, it's always the same because it's always different. So we'll start with our mirror hand. Let's take a breath in. And then exhale the mirror hand out. Turn the palm. Inhale and turn the palm up as you stretch. And then exhale as this hand comes in, the other hand passes it on the way out. Turning the palm up. Inhale and stretch. Exhale. In. Out. In, out, in, out. Watching the hand as you breathe. In. Exhale with a little knee bend. And then inhale, stretch. Out. Last one. Let's close towards the mirrors. Inhale. Take a few breaths. Feeling the breath moving through the whole body. Feeling the blood carrying the breath, pumping through the whole body. Inviting the breath all the way out into the fingertips, into the toe tips, into the head and the nose, the eyes, the ears, the lips and tongue. Saturating the whole body with breath, with qi and blood. Allowing yourself to be nourished. Let's take a breath in together. And then exhale, sink. Inhaling, opening towards the windows. And exhale. So your hands can rest by your sides. So for this movement, we lift off of our heels. So if your stance needs to be wider or narrower to allow this to happen in a good way, feel free to adjust. I find it's very helpful to engage your toes. If you're balancing mostly on the balls of your feet, that's pretty unstable. But if you can really engage the toes, like you just slowly lean into your toes, let your heels rise, and then we can inhale off of the heels. And then exhaling, and right before you get to the ground, you can then drop. Again, inhale. And you don't have to come up very high, stay low if that's what works. It's better to engage the toes, get strong in your feet. Exhaling and drop. Soft knees. Just go as high as feels stable. Let's do that 4 more times. Soft knees, feel the reverberation through the whole skeleton. 2 more. Last one. And then let's close towards the windows. Inhale. And exhale. Just standing for a few moments here, feeling your alignment between the earth and sky, breathing with your whole body, reaching the base of the skull, off of the neck, away from the shoulders, allowing the collarbones to lift and spread wide, shoulder blades settled on the back of the rib cage, breathing underneath the shoulder blades, creating some width in the back side of the body. Allowing your weight to sink down through your heel bones, the big, dense bones of your feet that are designed to bear weight. And as you're ready, you can relax and just take an easy stance, shake it out a little bit. And let's rub our palms together. Generate some heat in the hands. Let's massage our faces up and down a couple times. Back and forth over the top of the head. Down the back of the neck slowly, giving yourself a little neck massage as the hands come around base of the neck. And you can massage over your chest, your lungs, your heart, to the solar plexus, and then across the lower ribs, onto the abdomen, around the waist, to the lower back, the kidneys, the lumbar spine, the sacroiliac joint, everywhere that needs it. And then let's draw the hands out, shake them out. Let's pat up one arm, up the outside, down the inside, up the other side, and down, and then around and down the back side of the body, up the front, and again, around and down, and back up. Bounce a little, shake it out. Let's do a couple sighs of relief. So 3 times. Big breath in. Audible exhale. 2 more. One more. And just a few breaths. I'm feeling the exchange of breath from the inside to the outside, from the outside to the inside. Breathing consciously. Aligning our bodies between the earth and sky consciously, intentionally. Each breath an offering to ourselves and to the universe. Each action an offering to ourselves and to the universe. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for your practice. May this practice be for the benefit of everything. And thank you so much for being here. Again, I apologize for the clunky start to drawing the bow. Sometimes I start a movement and then it's gets jumbled because there's 4 different ways of doing it, 4,000 different ways of doing it. All right. So thank you again. And have a great week. Enjoy the summer, the most yang part of the year, up until the solstice. But then as soon as it's the solstice, it starts to descend back into the more yin part of the year. So enjoy. Thank you all for being here online. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.